I was gonna just say, like, over the years, like today, looking from now towards the future, how much do you think, or what's your hope for where things are going to be as far as the perception and of First Nation communities and where First Nation communities are going in the next generation?
Well, in the next generations, I think we have to begin to look at our membership and how far we're going to go with admitting people to a membership. Because if we keep on the road that we're on, all we're going to be in eventually is Caucasian communities, okay? And how far down the road do you carry bloodlines when there's none left? And in some instances, I know of people that have been registered in families that go back 5, 6, 7 generations since there was any Mi'kmaq blood in the family. Okay, so how we handle our membership issues and what have you is going to be a big issue in the future. And if we don't begin to do it somewhere along the line, I think the white man is going to win the battle, and will be totally assimilated. And I know that a lot of people cringe from or what have you, but and the hard cold fact says that somewhere along the line you have to begin to address it. In Newfoundland, they opened the doors over there, and that turned out to be one huge fiasco. Almost 1/4 of the population of Newfoundland lined up to become Indians. And this wasn't always so, by the way. Right up, I can remember the day when you knew somebody was had Mi'kmaq blood in them, and you happened to mention it publicly, and they might pick up a gun and shoot you for doing so. Okay, it was. Now everybody wants to be an Indian in this day and age. In those days, we were the only ones that wanted to be Indian. But that's the prime issue I see in the future is how do we begin to manage our membership issues, and it's going to become very important, and it's very important at this moment. It's really something that has been ignored for a long, long period of time, and needs to become front and center. And how I don't know. You know, it's you love your grandkids, you love your, and you don't want to see them set aside. But somewhere along the line in the States, I know they're beginning to take a hard line, and the membership is being now withdrawn from a good number of people that formerly were members of such tribes as the Sioux and Cheyenne and what have you. And but it's an issue that I think is there, and it's becoming front and center, in particular in places such as Nova Scotia, where it has to be looked at long and hard. And the new sections of the Indian Act that permit almost anybody to claim Indian status. And Métis issue here in Nova Scotia, is there a Métis community? The answer is no, in my opinion, and I'll stick to it, and I'll go on a witness stand and I'll swear to it, because in the olden days there was good relationship between the French and the Mi'kmaq. There was intermarriages. The children of those intermarriages were either raised as Acadians or as Mi'kmaq. Okay, and there was no discrimination one way or the other between the two races of people. And even today, you go into an Acadian community and listen to the people speaking French, you can hear Mi'kmaq words. I was down in Meteghan having lunch one day, and a group of men were sitting at a table, and I heard such words as Mudawes, which is porcupine. And finally I went over and said, how come you guys are using these words, these Mi'kmaq words? Mi'kmaq words are Acadian words. I said, like hell they are. And then we had a good discussion, you know. And you look at the Acadian community in Nova Scotia, and they adopted many of the Mi'kmaq ways, okay? The social activities in the Mi'kmaq community, there is no elite group of people up here, and you know, they're all. When I got my honorary degree from St. Anne's University, it was the feast was quite interesting, eye-opening to me, because there was senators there was multimillionaires there was fishermen there, and ditch diggers there, and you know, the spectrum of the society. But there was no special tables for dignitaries or anything else. Everybody was communicating among everybody. Okay, there was no distinction of here's the ditch digger talking to the ditch digger, but you saw the ditch digger talking to the senator, or vice versa, and all the rest. So, and that was Mi'kmaq society. In Mi'kmaq society, there was no elite. The chiefs and leadership had no special perks whatsoever in Mi'kmaq society. It was just they were one among equals, and that's the way leadership was looked at. And in some ways, I think the Acadian community is maybe more traditional Mi'kmaq than we are. And I enjoyed that immensely, to be honest with you, that experience. I have a lot of friends in the Acadian community, and I have a lot of people in the Acadian community who are aspiring to become Métis that are pissed off at me at this point in time, but so be it. I don't care. It's I know there's not enough room for everybody in this country that has Indian blood in them to become part of the First Nations. I would say half the population, around 17, 18 million in this country, could trace somewhat back in their history and find a Native person in there. Pierre Trudeau's son, Justin Trudeau, the head of the Liberal Party, he's part Cree. Okay, if you look at the requirements of some of the councils, Native Council, Métis Council, or whatever, and Justin Trudeau could be admitted to that society and could have Aboriginal rights, treaty rights, and hunting rights, and fishing rights, and so forth. But in reality, was Justin Trudeau brought up as a Native person? The answer is no. He was brought up as a very wealthy Quebecer, the son of a very wealthy Quebecer. But Pierre Trudeau, the Prime Minister, before he left office, took his sons out west to a powwow to connect with another part of their ancestry. So, but Pierre Trudeau never made no claim of being a Métis or anything of that nature, and holding some hunting rights or fishing rights because of it. So that's another issue that we have to deal with here in this neck of the woods. I would say there are genuine Métis people, and they inhabit such places as Manitoba, Alberta, and Saskatchewan. And out there they were descendants from mixed marriages or sexual exchanges between Cree and the French, and both sides didn't want to have nothing to do with them, so they wound up in the middle. And that, you know, so it's genuine in their case that these people are, should have Aboriginal rights and fishing and hunting rights. I have no problem with them. As a matter of fact, you go out there and meet a lot of these people, you'll find that they have far more Indian blood in them than a great many of us. Okay, so it's, but those are issues that the present generations are going to have to begin to look at hard and long and see how they come out. And I look at the white paper way back in 1967, and I think John Chrétien and Pierre Trudeau are having their revenge when they repatriated the Constitution. They included that word Aboriginal in there, and no definition.